passing notes are the most common type of non-harmonic note. Let's take a look at the principal ways in which they appear. First up, we have the unaccented diatonic passing note. So again, within the category of passing notes, this is the type you'll see occurring most often. So whenever you have two chords next to one another, and you see that in one of the parts there's an interval of a third, either ascending or descending, for instance, or, then that's going to be a good place for a passing note. Let's put one in our soprano part. Hear how that sounds. In this particular case, because we have two voices or parts in which there's an interval of a third between the two chords, namely the soprano and the bass, we could also put one in the bass and have double passing notes, in this case working in contrary motion to one another. Now when you have double passing notes, it's always important to make sure that the chord that's being implied in the center isn't disruptive. You also need to make sure that your two passing notes sound consonant together. Let's put in our Roman numeral figuration here, and the abbreviation we'll be using to show our passing notes is a capital P. Next, let's look at an example of an unaccented chromatic passing note. This time we'll work in the key of F major. So here in the key of F we have a tonic submediant progression. Now while diatonic unaccented passing notes fill in a gap of a third, as we saw in the previous example, chromatic passing notes fill in a gap of a major second. So in the example we have here, we can see that in the tenor part we have a major second from C to D. So that's a good place where we could put in a chromatic passing note. Let's put in our passing note figuration here. Put in some double bar lines. And finally, let's look at the accented passing note. So if we look at our figuration here, D minor again, dominant in third inversion, tonic in first inversion. Now looking at this, you might be tempted to consider the C sharp and the E to be the passing notes, but in fact the context of this entire section is dominant. So in D minor that means we have the notes A, C sharp and E. So the C sharp and the E, although they look like passing notes, are in fact consonant. The dissonant note is actually the D, which falls on the second beat. So the unaccented passing notes occurred in a metrically weak position between two of the main metric beats, whereas the accented passing note occurs on one of the main beats. Let's label it as a passing note, and let's hear the example.